In the heart of the Tukila savannah, a village once thrived, nourished by the blessings of fertile lands and flowing rivers. But over time, the rain ceased, the rivers dwindled, and the fields lay barren under a relentless sun. The villagers, though resilient, could not ignore the growing shadow of despair. Livestock weakened, children cried from hunger, and the once vibrant laughter around the evening fires turned to worried whispers. Among them was Liko, a young herdsman known for his kindness and courage. Though his family struggled like the rest, Liko's heart was heavy not only for his kin but for every soul in the village. Something must be done, he murmured to himself one restless night as he watched the pale moonlight dance on the empty riverbeds. Little did he know, his destiny was intertwined with the salvation of his people. That night, as Liko drifted into a fitful sleep, a vivid dream overtook him. He found himself standing in a dense forest, its trees shimmering with a golden glow. A gentle breeze carried a melodic hum, and amidst the radiance stood a majestic creature, a golden sangoma with spiraled horns that seemed to touch the heavens. Its eyes, deep and wise, met his own. Liko, the sangoma's voice echoed, "Your village's plight is not without cause. Seek me where the rivers whisper and the stones sing. There lies the path to renewal." Liko awoke with a start, his heart pounding. The dream was unlike any he had ever known. Could this be a sign, he wondered. The next morning, he resolved to share his vision with the elders, unaware of the journey awaiting him. Liko stood before the village elders, a group of wise but weary men and women who bore the weight of generations on their shoulders. "A golden creature spoke to me in my dream," he explained. "It said our salvation lies where rivers whisper and stones sing." The elders exchanged skeptical glances. "Dreams are fleeting, child," said Elder Duma, his voice tinged with doubt. "Our people need action, not riddles." Others nodded in agreement, their faces lined with exhaustion. But Elder Naledi, the oldest and most revered, raised her hand. "Sometimes, wisdom comes from unexpected places," she said, her gaze piercing. "Liko, if your heart believes in this vision, then follow it. Perhaps the spirits have chosen you." Her words ignited a spark in Liko's heart. With her blessing, he prepared to journey into the unknown. Liko's feet carried him far from the familiar sights of his village, into the dense forest that bordered their lands. The air was cooler here, filled with the earthy scent of moss and the faint chirping of unseen creatures. His heart raced as he ventured deeper, guided only by the memory of his dream. Hours passed, and doubt began to creep into his thoughts. Was this a fool's errand, he wondered. But just as his resolve wavered, a golden light flickered in the distance. With renewed determination, Liko followed the glow until he reached a clearing. There, standing as majestically as in his dream, was the golden sangoma. Its radiance illuminated the forest, and its gentle eyes seemed to peer into his very soul. "You have come," the sangoma said. "Your courage has brought you to the edge of truth." The golden sangoma circled Liko, its hooves barely touching the ground as though it floated. "To save your village," it began, "you must prove your worth. The path ahead is fraught with trials. Only one with a heart true and strong can succeed." Liko nodded, his resolve firm. "Tell me what I must do." The sangoma's eyes glowed brighter. "You must listen to the whispers of the rivers and the songs of the stones. They will guide you to the truth." Before Liko could ask for clarity, the sangoma gestured with its horn toward a winding path. "Follow this trail until you find the Stone of Echoes. There, your journey begins." With those words, the sangoma faded into the forest golden light. Liko stood alone, the weight of his task settling upon him. Summoning his courage, he began walking the path. The Stone of Echoes hummed as Liko returned. "You have listened to the river's wisdom. Now, you must seek the Song of the Stones." Confused but willing, Liko waited for guidance. The stone paused once more, its voice calm yet firm. Climb to the peak where the earth touches the sky. There, the stones sing their secrets. Liko set off, navigating a steep trail that led him to a rugged mountain. The climb was arduous, and the sharp winds tested his endurance. But as he neared the summit, he heard faint musical tones resonating through the rocks. At the peak, he stood among scattered stones, each producing a unique note as the wind swept across them. Closing his eyes, he pieced together their melody, a song of unity and resilience. When he hummed the tune aloud, the earth beneath him vibrated, and he felt an inexplicable bond with the land. As Liko descended the mountain, the golden sangoma reappeared, its luminous presence banishing the night's shadows. You have listened to the elements, it said. You are learning the harmony of the world. The sangoma circled him, its hooves leaving glowing imprints. But knowledge alone is not enough. Will you sacrifice for the sake of others? The next trial will test your heart. Liko nodded, his voice steady. I am ready. The sangoma lowered its head, a single golden tear falling to the ground. Follow where this drop leads. There, you will face the choice that defines your worth. The tear transformed into a glowing stream that flowed through the forest. Liko followed it, his heart pounding as he wondered what awaited him. With each step, he felt the weight of his village's future pressing on his shoulders. The glowing stream led Liko to a clearing where a majestic tree stood, its branches heavy with golden fruit. Beneath the tree lay a dried, cracked basin that seemed to call for nourishment. A voice from the heavens spoke, "The fruit can heal your village, but it will drain the life of the tree. Choose wisely, for every gift has a cost." Liko approached the tree, gazing at its beauty. He thought of his village's suffering but hesitated. If I take the fruit, this sacred tree may perish, he murmured. The sangoma appeared, its eyes solemn. True sacrifice lies in finding another way, it said. Liko knelt by the basin and cupped water from the glowing stream, pouring it gently into the cracked earth around the tree. Slowly, the tree revived, and its fruit multiplied. A single golden fruit fell into his hands. With the golden fruit in hand, Liko noticed the glowing stream growing stronger, now flowing freely back toward his village. The water returns, he exclaimed, realizing the connection between the tree and the land. He followed the stream as it carved new paths through the forest, merging with the dry riverbeds. Along the way, he saw plants sprouting and animals returning to drink from the rejuvenated waters. The sangoma walked beside him, its voice calm. The harmony you restored here is spreading, but the heart of your village must also change. The balance must be protected, or this will not last. Liko nodded, determination etched on his face. I will make them understand. As he approached the edge of the forest, the village came into view. The sight of the flowing river brought tears to his eyes. He knew the hardest part of his journey was yet to come. When Liko entered the village, carrying the golden fruit, the people gathered around him, their eyes wide with wonder. The once dry river now flowed beside them, its waters clear and full. What is this miracle, Liko? Elder Duma asked, his tone skeptical. Liko held the fruit high. This is a gift from the golden sangoma, a blessing of the forest. But the sangoma warned that we must change our ways or the land will wither again. The crowd murmured, some filled with hope, others doubtful. What proof do we have of your story? One villager called out. Before Liko could answer, Elder Naladi stepped forward. The river's return is proof enough, she said, her voice firm. Let us hear him out. Encouraged by her support, Liko prepared to share the lessons he had learned from the trials. Under the great baobab tree, the villagers gathered, their faces lit by the golden glow of the fruit. Liko began, the sangoma showed me the past, how we took too much from the land without giving back. To save our future, we must live in harmony with nature. He knelt by the river and began to hum the melody he had learned on the mountain. The stones in the riverbed resonated with his tune, amplifying the sound. Slowly, the villagers joined in, their voices weaving together in a powerful harmony. As their song rose, the golden fruit split open, releasing a radiant light that bathed the village. The crops began to sprout, the air grew cool, and the trees regained their lush greenery. The villagers looked to Liko in awe. For the first time in years, hope blossomed in their hearts. The morning after the golden fruit's light transformed the village, a vibrant dawn painted the skies. The villagers awoke to fields sprouting green shoots, the river flowing steadily, and birds singing in the trees. Elder Naledi summoned a council meeting under the baobab tree. Liko has shown us the way, but the harmony he speaks of will require more than just song and hope, she said. Liko stood, his voice steady. We must rebuild our bond with the land. Plant trees for everyone we fell, take only what we need, and ensure the river remains clean. The villagers listened, many nodding in agreement. Elder Duma, though still cautious, admitted, perhaps the boy's dream holds wisdom after all. As the council dispersed, families began to work together, planting seeds and cleaning the riverbanks. For the first time in years, unity filled the air. Though the land began to recover, the changes were slow. Days turned into weeks, and the villagers grew restless. Why isn't the harvest ready yet? One farmer grumbled. Liko reminded them, the Sangoma taught me that balance takes time. Just as the drought did not come overnight, the healing will not be instant. To encourage patience, Elder Naledi proposed weekly gatherings where the villagers shared their progress and sang the song of unity. These meetings brought comfort and strengthened their resolve. Meanwhile, Liko continued tending the fields, guiding others to nurture the land with care. Slowly, the villagers' frustration gave way to hope as they began to see the first fruits of their labor. In their newfound patience, the people began to understand the deeper lesson of harmony, that nature rewards those who respect its rhythms. One evening, Liko stood by the river, marveling at its steady flow. As he watched, a herd of antelope emerged from the forest to drink. Their presence startled him at first, but then he realized what it meant. The animals are returning, he whispered, his heart swelling with joy. He rushed back to the village to share the news. The elders confirmed that many animals, once driven away by the drought, were finding their way back. This is a sign of balance being restored, Elder Naledi said. The villagers worked to ensure the animals had safe spaces. They cleared paths, avoided overhunting, and built simple watering holes. Liko often sat quietly by the forest, observing the creatures and feeling a profound connection to the life around him. The return of the animals was not just a blessing but a testament to the village's progress. One moonlit night, the golden Sangoma appeared to Liko once more. Its radiant form stood at the edge of the forest, casting a warm glow over the land. You have done well, Liko, it said, its voice carrying pride. But remember, harmony is a fragile thing. The village must never forget this lesson. The Sangoma's horns shimmered as it shared a prophecy, a time will come when greed may tempt your people again. If the balance is broken, the drought will return, and this land will suffer once more. You must prepare the next generation to carry this wisdom. Liko bowed deeply. I will ensure our people never forget. The Sangoma touched its horns to the ground, leaving behind a golden imprint. This mark will remind your people of our covenant, it said before fading into the night. The golden imprint left by the Sangoma became a sacred site for the villagers. They named it the Mark of Balance and built a small shrine around it. Elders began gathering there to teach children about the lessons Liko had learned in his journey. Every morning, Liko visited the shrine, bowing before the mark. This is not just for us, he often said to the children who accompanied him. It is for the future of all who walk this land. The shrine became a place of reflection and renewal. Families brought offerings of fruits, seeds, and flowers to honor the land's gifts. The unity among the people grew stronger, and the village flourished. Though the covenant had been made, Liko knew his work was far from over. The Sangoma's prophecy weighed on him, but it also fueled his determination to protect the harmony they had rebuilt. One day, strangers arrived in the village, drawn by rumors of its newfound prosperity. Traders and wanderers brought exotic goods but also sought to exploit the land's abundance. "We can help you grow even more crops," one trader promised. "But we will need a portion of your water and land." The offer tempted some villagers. What harm could it do to share a little, they wondered. But Liko's instincts warned him of danger. "The Sangoma taught us that balance must be preserved," he argued. "If we take too much or give without care, we risk undoing everything we've built." The debate divided the village. Elder Naledi urged caution, while others, like Elder Duma, considered the trader's offer. The villagers faced a difficult choice, to trust Liko's warnings or risk the harmony they had fought so hard to restore. The elders convened under the baobab tree to decide the village's course of action. The traders stood nearby, their faces calm but their eyes gleaming with anticipation. Liko spoke passionately. "We have worked together to bring life back to this land. The Sangoma warned us of greed and imbalance. If we allow outsiders to exploit what we've rebuilt, the balance will break again." Elder Duma countered, "These traders could bring prosperity. Should we not consider their offer carefully?" After hours of deliberation, Elder Naledi rose. "The land has given us all we need. To take more would be to disrespect its gift. I stand with Liko." Her words swayed the council, and the decision was made. The traders were kindly asked to leave. Though some villagers remained uncertain, the majority supported the choice to protect their covenant with the land. Though the traders departed, the village remained uneasy. Some muttered about missed opportunities, while others questioned Liko's influence. Sensing the tension, Liko and Elder Naledi organized a festival to remind the villagers of their unity. They called it the Festival of Harmony, a celebration of the land's gifts and the people's shared bond. The festival featured music, dance, and storytelling. Children played games that taught respect for nature, and elders shared tales of the Sangoma's wisdom. When Liko recited the Song of the Stones, the crowd joined in, their voices blending in perfect harmony. As the melody rose, the unease began to fade, replaced by a renewed sense of togetherness. By the festival's end, the villagers stood united once more, ready to protect the balance they had rebuilt. The unity from the Festival of Harmony brought peace to the village, but it was short-lived. Dark clouds began to gather on the horizon, both in the skies and in the hearts of the people. Some villagers, still swayed by the traders' promises, secretly met to discuss ways to bring them back. They believed the village could thrive even more with the wealth the outsiders offered. Liko sensed the unrest but chose to focus on the land. One evening, as he tended to the fields, Elder Naledi approached him. "A storm brews, not just in the skies," she said. "Be vigilant, for divisions within the village could undo all we have rebuilt." Her words weighed heavily on Liko. He resolved to uncover the truth and protect the harmony, even if it meant confronting his own people. Liko overheard whispers one night as he walked past the village square. A small group huddled around the fire, their voices low but urgent. "We could use the traders' tools to plant more fields," one man argued. "Why should we limit ourselves?" Another replied, "Liko and the elders are too cautious. They fear change, but we must take risks to grow stronger." Liko stepped forward, his presence startling the group. "What you speak of is not growth but greed," he said firmly. "The Sangoma warned us against such actions." The group fell silent, guilt and defiance mingling on their faces. "We only want what's best for the village," one muttered. "And so do I," Liko replied. "But the best for the village lies in balance, not excess." His words left the group uneasy, and he knew the battle for unity was far from over. To address the unrest, Elder Naledi gathered the villagers at the shrine of the Mark of Balance. She began a tale of an ancient chief who had sacrificed personal gain for the good of his people. The chief was offered great riches, she said, but he saw the danger in taking more than the land could provide. He chose instead to share what he had and maintain harmony. His people prospered for generations because of his wisdom. Her story resonated with many, but others remained unconvinced. Liko took the opportunity to speak. We must remember that true prosperity is not measured by wealth but by the well-being of our people and the land. As the gathering ended, some villagers looked humbled, while others walked away, their doubts lingering. The struggle for the village's soul continued. Days later, a sudden storm swept through the village, uprooting crops and flooding parts of the land. The villagers scrambled to salvage what they could, but the damage was significant. Liko stood by the river, watching as its waters overflowed. Elder Naledi joined him, her expression somber. The land reminds us of its power, she said. Even as it gives, it can also take away. The storm served as a harsh reminder to the villagers of the fragility of balance. Those who had doubted Liko's words began to reconsider. The elders called for a meeting to discuss how to recover. We must rebuild, but with care, Elder Duma said. This storm is a warning to all of us. United once more by the shared challenge, the villagers began working together, determined to restore what had been lost. As the land slowly recovered from the storm's damage, Liko led efforts to plant new seeds and strengthen the riverbanks. His tireless work inspired others, and soon the entire village joined in. One evening, as they worked together, a rainbow arched across the sky, its vibrant colors reflected in the river. The villagers paused, marveling at the sight. It is a sign, Elder Naledi said. The spirits acknowledge our efforts and offer us hope. Liko smiled, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. The rainbow became a symbol of resilience, reminding the villagers that even after the fiercest storms, harmony could be restored. Though challenges still lay ahead, the village stood together, their bonds strengthened by the trials they had faced. With Liko's guidance, they moved forward, ready to protect the balance for generations to come. Months passed, and the village began to thrive once more. The harmony between the people and the land was palpable, their bonds strengthened by their shared struggles. One day, however, a familiar caravan appeared on the horizon. The traders had returned. This time, their wagons were laden with even more goods, and their leader approached with a disarming smile. "We see your village has prospered," he said. "We wish only to trade fairly. Perhaps we can offer tools or seeds in exchange for your surplus crops." The villagers gathered to discuss the offer. Some saw it as an opportunity, while others, wary of past temptations, urged caution. Liko spoke last, his voice steady. "If we trade, it must be with clear boundaries. We cannot let greed overshadow what we have rebuilt." The council agreed to proceed cautiously, ensuring the village's harmony remained intact. The council crafted strict terms for trading. The traders could exchange goods, but no land or resources beyond surplus crops would be shared. Liko personally oversaw the first exchanges, ensuring fairness. The traders grumbled at the limitations but ultimately accepted the terms. Despite the careful negotiations, tensions simmered. Some villagers whispered that Liko was too strict, while others admired his steadfastness. Elder Naledi supported him, saying, "Balance is not always easy, but it is necessary. Those who protect it must stand firm, even when others waver." The trading arrangements brought useful tools and seeds, but Liko remained vigilant. He knew that the true test of the village's resolve was not in external offers but in their ability to uphold their values. Though the trading agreement seemed successful, a shadow began to grow within the village. A small group, discontent with the restrictions, secretly conspired with the traders. We deserve more than this, one conspirator argued. Liko and the elders are holding us back. The group met in secret, devising plans to trade independently and bypass the council's terms. Their actions threatened to undermine the harmony Liko had worked so hard to protect. Unaware of the brewing betrayal, Liko continued his work, focusing on strengthening the village's resilience. He sensed a subtle unease but could not yet pinpoint its source. The stage was set for a conflict that would test the village's unity and Liko's leadership. One evening, as Liko walked along the riverbank, he noticed footprints leading toward the forest. Curious, he followed them and stumbled upon the conspirators meeting with the traders. The sight filled him with both anger and sadness. He stepped into the clearing, his presence startling the group. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded. The conspirators looked guilty, but their leader stepped forward. "We only want what's best for the village," he argued. "Why should we limit ourselves when we can have more?" Liko's voice was firm. "More at the cost of balance is not what's best. You risk everything we've built." The traders quickly retreated, sensing the tension. Liko returned to the village, determined to address the betrayal openly and restore unity. The next morning, Liko gathered the villagers and recounted what he had witnessed. The conspirators defended their actions, claiming they acted for the village's prosperity. The debate grew heated. Some sided with Liko, while others sympathized with the conspirators' ambitions. Elder Naledi called for calm. "We must remember what the Sangoma taught us," she said. "Greed and imbalance will only lead to ruin." Liko spoke with conviction. "The traders do not care for our well-being. They only seek to take what we have rebuilt. We must stand together to protect the harmony of our village." His words swayed many, but the division lingered. The village faced its greatest challenge yet, to reunite and reaffirm their commitment to balance. Months passed, and the village flourished under its renewed harmony. The traders, however, returned one last time, this time with a more cunning plan. Their leader approached Liko directly, offering riches beyond imagination in exchange for exclusive rights to the village's resources. "We offer prosperity like you've never known," the trader said, his voice dripping with persuasion. "Your people will never know hunger or hardship again." Liko listened carefully but stood firm. True prosperity lies in balance and self-reliance. We cannot trade away our future for fleeting wealth. The traders attempted to sway others in the village, but the unity forged by the pool of reflection held strong. The villagers, now wise to the consequences of greed, unanimously rejected the offer. Defeated, the traders left, realizing they could not exploit a community that stood together. The rejection of the traders marked a turning point for the village. With their focus solely on the well-being of the land and their people, the community began thriving in ways they had never imagined. The villagers expanded their fields carefully, ensuring they did not overburden the land. They planted trees along the riverbanks to protect the waterways, and their livestock grew stronger under sustainable practices. Elder Naledi declared, "This is not just for us but for those who come after. Let them inherit a village that values balance over abundance." Liko, though humbled by his journey, was celebrated as a hero. But he reminded the villagers, "The true heroes are all of you, who chose to protect what truly matters." The Golden Sangoma's teachings became a guiding principle, passed down through generations. Years later, as Liko sat beneath the great baobab tree, watching children play near the river, he felt a profound sense of peace. The village had transformed into a beacon of harmony, its people thriving alongside nature. One evening, as the sun set in a blaze of gold, the Sangoma appeared to Liko for the final time. Its radiant form shimmered in the twilight, and its eyes, as wise as ever, met his. "You have upheld the balance," the Sangoma said. Your courage and wisdom have ensured the prosperity of your people. My task here is done. The sangoma began to fade, but its voice lingered. Remember, the balance is delicate. Protect it always. As the creature vanished, Liko felt no sadness, only gratitude. The sangoma's legacy lived on in the hearts of the villagers, a timeless reminder that true wealth lies in harmony with the world around them. The village of Tukila became a legend, its story told far and wide, a testament to the power of unity, respect, and balance.